Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to World Online Racing WOR for the mystery season, which is what I'm calling it anyway. It's just mystery rounds every round of the season. We don't know until 2000 hours UTC, I think, or UK time. Let's just say UK time because I'm not very good at the GMTs and whatever. But anyway, enough about that. We are here for round two, drum roll. It's an Italian Grand Prix. It's Monza, which I think a lot of people are quite happy with. But I'm joined this week by my co-commentator from last season, which is LCR Leopard. He's here this week. So it doesn't, you don't have to have me babbling on for loads of random parts of the race. I do have the lovely LCR Leopard back. Welcome, Leopard. I hope you're well.
And it's, less of the title talk for the time being, more just go out, pick up as many points as you possibly can, if that's the way you want to go about it. And yeah, of course, we've got the added stipulation, if you will, of, not knowing where on earth we're going to be until, well, literally as soon as we get in the lobby. So it's, I guess you could say it's more of a chilled out kind of season. Would you agree, Gareth?
I think it's even worse. I think it's even worse with this. It's bedlam. It could just have been China. I'm not sure, and I'm not trying to sound like Donald Trump there, but yeah, it definitely seemed like last time out was a little bit more crazy, let's say. But I'll just quickly run down the top 10 from last week. It was BRT Silo and Tech Brutal. A BRT 1-2 in the end there and doing very, very well. Shazoo Volokongan had a great strategy, worked well for him in third. The qualifying first runs are on, but we'll get to that very, very shortly. Owen in fourth, fifth to Ryder Dow, sixth to Cameron Dowd, seventh to Brando, eighth to Ryan there, ninth to Ryan, and 10th to Nail there. Let's look. We'll go out and track now. Actually, I'll just get the standing screen ready for later on, because it is going to be those guys anyway. But we're on track now with TF10 Ryan, who has changed teams since you've last commentated. Also, Leopard, he was, this is NVR. He was NVR before, now he is TF10. But yeah, absolutely crazy last time out. Some real good work from the PRT duo of... this is another BRT duo, isn't it? Owen and Joe Murphy, who is serving I believe, a qualifying ban. But Tech Brutal and Silo, who won last time out. But Lifebout is in the Haas alongside Tech this time round. So some interesting drivers coming in and going and doing some stuff. But Monza is a brilliant track. We're going to see some incredible stuff here tonight, aren't we?
Oh yeah, I mean, look, if Shanghai was bedlam, it's going to be, just, times that by, I don't know, 2 or 3, I guess. If I'm going to throw a figure out there, it's, yeah, look, Temple of Speed Monza, we know how powerful the DRS is, how tricky it is to, break out of that 1 second window. It's as tough as it's going to get. It's going to be bedlam. And it should hopefully be bedlam of the good kind, a cracker of a Grand Prix, not, it descends into chaos and it all spills out in the Discord later on, or even during, or even worse on good old Twitter.com. So, we'll see what happens. We've still got 13.5 minutes of qualifying, left to do. That'll be relatively chill, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this race pans out. But of course, qualifying will be fairly. It's difficult to know in these kind of situations if it's important or not. I mean, technically, Monza, it's almost. We've seen it before. to a certain extent, because of just how powerful the DRS is, and because you just end up in that kind of sort of train, it can always become tricky to overtake, in a sense. I don't think that's going to be the case. And, it will be possible to, climb from, the midfield or even the back of the field towards the front if you have enough pace. I don't think it's going to be a case of where if you, hit a bad qualifying, you're going to get stuck or anything like that. But as we do know, and it's something Cameron Dowds has found out on many occasions throughout his time league racing, it can put you in a spot bother if you don't, if you don't get qualifying right. It does make your life a lot easier if you're at least on the front 3 rows of the grid.
I think, speaking of Cameron, he's they've definitely pulled out of their latest lap. Life bout. We're just going to go on board with now, but yeah, you're definitely right. You need especially Monza. You want to be top 5. I think maybe not necessarily first, but definitely top 5. But let's run down the rules again for this season. You cannot use a set of hard tyres in the race. I can't remember who it was last week that did the first 5 laps on the set of hards before the safety car came out. You can't use that because every lap you do a lap on hards, I think it's a 5-second penalty. And what is it? Penalty point system, 20 penalty points is a quali ban, 35 is a race ban, and 50 is a season ban. What else is there? It's pushing a 2-stop strategy, which is hoping to be a better racing. It's a bit like what they've done with Monaco in real life this season.
In real life, yeah.
Which is quite good. Maybe Luke is on the FIA, who knows? Drivers that pit on the final lap for hard tyres will be disqualified. What else? And there's also punishments for being late to the lobby as well. So hopefully we will see nice, tidy. Possibly. If I'm late, there's definitely trouble.
Oh no.
I think you're okay.
We might be the first commentators ever to end up with penalty points. It's a genuine possibility.
I was a little bit worried about you tonight. You at 5-2. I was like, please not again.
Efficient. And late more often than not. No, you're right.
But let's go back to the track and let's have a look at Volokongren.
Yes.
Cameron Dowds' teammate just finished Ascari and coming into Parabolica now. Let's see, a decent result last time out. Let's see if they can break into it this time.
Yep, looks like a decent run through Parabolica using all the ERS, very little ERS actually to use up on the run up to the start finish line. Where's it going to be for Volokongren? Straight up onto the front row of the grid. There you go. I'll give him a solid base for the remainder of this qualifying session. 1 minute 18.4. Yeah, solid base for the rest of the session. Shouldn't have to worry about falling down the field too much, I don't think. Then again, these are console tier 1 drivers who are separated by very little, so maybe isn't safe, at least in terms of not having a dreadful starting position. So yeah, maybe. I could be wrong on that, but in general, still good to set a benchmark, good to get up into P2 early. Well, now P3 as Ryan pips him by 11 thousandths of a second in the Alpine. So good lap from Ryan there as well. Tech Brutal has invalidated his lap time. Silo has backed out of his as well. Who else is on one at the moment? If you can see anyone.
I think.
Oh, Zinedine! That was close. Zinedine got a massive tag slap on the XR Parabolica, bit too eager on the power, and well, he clips the wall and comes away, thankfully, with nothing more than just front wing damage. But that could have easily seen, that front left suspension just completely caved in, and that would have been the end of that qualifying session for the McLaren and Zinedine. But thankfully, he gets a chance to go again.
We
now
have
Gio up towards the line. What's he going to do? P12 for the Ferrari.
We have got Bell coming through Parabolica now. They a little bit skew whiff through Ascari. So was Zinedine. So I went off board of Zinedine because they pretty much tried taking flying lessons for Ascari. And then Cameron Dowds goes and throws it on pole. Something I will mention from last time out. was the absolute incredible lap time we got from Tech Brutal. It was a absolute stormer. I think it was like 2.5 tenths quicker than anyone else. And then I witnessed him do exactly the same thing on Sunday night at China as well. He is he was flying. Let's just say he probably was is one of his more favoured tracks if it was up there like that. But let's go on board with Max van der Geest. He's currently P11 with a 1:18.6, just starting their lap time. Oh, my goodness me. This is, Monza Drift, not Tokyo Drift. That's not going to do your tyres or your lap time any good.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of... He's sorted it all out, kind of. I'm going to be interested to see what this Sector 1 split time is, because if he's up, no. Good. I'm glad that's not a way of going around turns 1 and 2, the Rettifilio. Couple turns down is Max van der Geest, but yeah, completely sideways under braking. Not sure if he just locked the rears or maybe clipped the grass on entry, maybe a bit of both. Well, I will say otherwise, this looked fairly tidy, the rest of the lap, beyond that absolute almost handbrake turn into the Rettifilio. From Van der Geest, committing through the Ascari still, so he's clearly not backing out of it, but I don't think there's any... He's not going to be able to make up the rest of that time, is he? After that half spin almost through the Rettifilio. Dirk's just started a lap, Owen has also just started a lap, full lock into the Rettifilio. We'll see what his Sector 1 split time is as he comes through Kerber Grande once again.
Well, what I will say about I've watched Max van der Geest all the way until the line, and their lap, it was very, I think, I might not be right, but it looked like it was perfect, the first sector difference to finishing the lap. So the pace is there, the consistency is there, as Owen's consistency is not.
Yeah, this lap has gone.
Yeah, that was a terrible first Lesmo.
It didn't look right at all. I think it was into the De La Roggia as well, just out of sorts. I think clipped the gravel a bit on exit, easily done. But yeah, this lap is definitely gone. I'm surprised the way that, if your lap's gone, it has gone this time. What's happened there?
That's Zinedine at the exit of the second Lesmo. His car is, or the car is humping his front right tyre. That's the only way I can describe that. That was a big moment out the exit. And my goodness me. Zinedine pushing the boundaries, and he found out. Yeah,
big time. I mean, look, we saw him push the boundaries through Parabolica, on his previous run. Got away with just front wing damage. This time, he's bitten off way more than he can chew, and it has gone. The front suspension has caved it. Excuse me. And yeah, Zinedine out of qualifying without even saying a lap time. Not a great qualifying if you're the McLaren of Zinedine. We'll have to look, well, one half of the McLaren garage is in absolute tears. The other half is actually enjoying life at the moment. Brando up onto the second row of the grid. Tech Brutals also managed to put it onto the second row as well. Silo, last week's race winner, what can he do then? In the Williams, up to the line, is going to be a provisional pole or anything like that? No, but it's top 5, that'll do nicely. That gives him, again, a solid base to work from for his last run. Volokong, I said earlier that was a solid base. He's dropped down to P8, so maybe wasn't as safe as I thought. But nevertheless, still got another run to go out to Epic Vale. Hello, the Italian on home soil. Puts onto provisional pole position. The first man is storming at 18.2s. He's arrived. I remember it's now 2 seasons ago when we came here. Again, it was, Monza was one of those tracks where, he put it on pole back then with a cracking lap. Is he about to do it again, this time in Tier 1? Cameron Dowds also on a lap time, just missed his first sector split as he now approaches the first 2 Lesmos.
Bell B is on their, they're on their fast lap as well, just ahead of Cameron, so we might be able to see a double hit on lap times.
Cameron's lap is gone. Invalidated.
Here, and Bell B's is down by 0.07 as well. So maybe able to, as at Ascari, you can gain so much time. Epic Vale, I think that's where they found their time as well, because they were flying, and it was a quarter of a second up. Oh, very, very wide for Bell through the Parabolica, and I think that's their lap time over and done with. Nail, where are you? Just about to start a lap time. I don't think we've got anyone else on track.
No, that battery's gone.
Ryan's is gone. So I think it's going to be a Ferrari of Nail, who has possibly just finished a lap time. Let's see what their first
I think so. The battery's gone anyway, so he's just recharging it at the moment. Maybe to go again. I mean, he's not going to have enough time to get back around into the pits. And so yeah, he must be recharging it to go for one last hurrah in the Ferrari. Not a great day for the Tifosi at the moment. 14th and 15th. That's not what they were hoping for. Let's see if one of man like Onelgio can produce the goods and at least give them something to shout about in the remaining 2.5 minutes of this qualifying session. Yeah, bit of a lull at the moment in this qualifying, before it's all gonna humongously kick off with the final lap of this qualifying session.
2 minutes and 9 seconds. Nail may be able to get into the pits and maybe cut, Rettifilio or Della Roggia.
Is that allowed?
I don't know. If it's not seen on screen, maybe, who knows. But let's see what the current third place driver can do. Owen in the Kick Sauber for this week, coming down the start-finish straight and into turn one. There's a McLaren there. The only McLaren left in the session, which is Brando, who is fourth in this session. So it'll be interesting to see what Owen can do in comparison to Brando, because Owen is far earlier in the session, in this final qualifying session, than Brando is. So maybe there is time to be gained for Brando.
Potentially. Owen a little bit out of sync, potentially deliberately. He's just losing out on a few thousandths of a second. Again, he gets Della Roggia wrong, and that lap has gone. Again, just a bit wide through the first part, compromises the second, which means he's, it's the last lap of qualifying. You're trying to carry as much speed as you possibly can, no matter how realistic it may be or may not be. And he just pushes a bit too much. He's a little bit wide. It compromises his line for the second part, and he just dips a wheel in the gravel. And there you go. That lap has gone. So Owen's going to have to recharge the battery. He should have enough time to go again, but his tyre's going to be suboptimal now as far as, maximize the potential from that car. But he should at least get one more go at it, which may be enough to, maybe at the very least, displace Cameron Dowds in second. We'll see.
I think Tech is going to be the next driver to set a lap time down into Ascari. They go. It is down on their lap time, and that's not ideal for Tech. And the validation there, I believe, Lifebout is the next driver. I don't think the Red Bull behind is... I think they're on an outlap. I think that's Epic Fail, but let's see what Lifebout can do. They're a tenth of a second down as well, but it could be that they could gain the time through Ascari. Let's see how Lifebout can handle it. Currently P10, they don't want to be starting there. They want to be starting higher up, so this is going to be difficult. Matteo in the chat saying about 17. Not even a 17, it's 1.18 at the moment. Here comes Lifebout across the line. It's an 18.4. It is slightly quicker, but not enough to displace Volokongan up in front. I believe it's going to be an Alpine next. Is that Belbelby or is that Ryder Dahl? It's Ryder Dahl. Yet to set a... Oh, no, it is. No, it must be a Williams.
Ryan.
It's Ryan.
It's Ryan.
Yeah, it's Ryan.
Up towards the line. And provisional pole position for TF10 Ryan. Solid lap from the Alpine. He displaces Epic Veil at the top of the timing screens. Volokongan moves back up into P5 as well. Oscar moves on to provisional pole position. The lap times are flying in now. Here comes Cameron Dowsett up to the line. He's currently in P4 at the moment. It's the Aston Martin. Can he claim provisional pole? Yes, he can. He's into the orbit at 18.1 bracket. Now, all eyes are on the Italian of Epic Veil, who's invalidated his lap. He had a 10th and a half in his back pocket, and he's blown it at Ascari. P5 at best for Epic Veil. Owens into the pit lane. Is Dirk on a lap? Indeed he is. He's going to be up to the line in the RB. What's it going to be for Dirk? It's the head of the second row. Solid lap for TF10 Dirk. What an incredible end to this qualifying session. Cameron Downs has nabbed it right to the death. The only man, it's the woman at 18.1 bracket. And as mentioned in chat, finally, he's given himself a solid starting position. And not just a solid one, it's pole for Cameron Downs.
Yeah, Shizu Oscar there getting in second place as well. Some good lap times coming in for qualifying. But Cameron Dowds doing a very, very good job of just putting being a bit better than the rest of the grid at the moment. I know Tech will probably be frustrated not being able to do what they produced last week, but let's have a quick rundown of the order here in WOR. It's Cameron Dowds and Oscar, Shazoo Oscar on the front row of the grid, with TF10 rounding out the second row of the grid. That's Dirk and Brando. Then another TF10 of Ryan in fifth. Epic Vale in sixth, unable to set a final lap time. Seventh to Owen. Volokongan in eighth. Ninth to Hazara. Great qualifying lap time there for Hazara. 10th is Tech. 11th is last week's winner, Silo. Then it's Lifebout. Max van der Geest in 13th. 14th to Ryan. Belbaby in 15th. 16th to Man Like Nail in 17th. 18th to Zidane, Ryderdale in 19th, and Joe Murphy rounding out qualifying. Those bottom three, though, could not set a lap time. Obviously, one of them couldn't because of the qualifying ban or an early retirement, whichever way, and Zinedine crashing out. But my goodness me, that's a bit of a mental one.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's... Yeah, that qualifying, it kicked off, didn't it, towards the end. And yeah, Cameron Dowds on pole position, Silo down 11th. That's not the qualifying he would have wanted. Yeah, lots to look out for the race. Do we get a lobby reset still? I'm guessing we do.
Yeah, still a lobby reset. Still World Online restart.
World Online restart, gosh.
Let's have a look at the standings then, because
yes,
that is exactly like the race results from last week, because funnily enough it was round one, but it is Silo leading the way and Tech Brutal in second, with Volokongan in third there, and fourth to Owen, fifth to Ryderdale. I just wanted to make sure that it did. I've just looked over and I was like, they're going to turn one. No, it's all AI'd. Sixth to Cameron Dowds, seventh to Brando, eighth to Ryan, ninth to TF10 Ryan, and Nail there doing rounding out the point scoring position. So let's have a look at the track calendar for season 20. Obviously, we know what round one was. That was the Chinese Grand Prix. We know what round two was. That was that is the Italian Grand Prix. But well, it's Italian and Imola, but it's the Monza Grand Prix for round two. It is such a lovely track pool, other than Monaco, that we've got there, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. In fact, yeah, I've just remembered there is a track pool, isn't there? Let me have a look and see what we've got. If I can find it, in fact. I won't look there. Oh, give me a second, everybody. Let me look at the track pool for myself with my own eyes. There it is. Season 20 calendar. Yeah, there you go. Of course, we've had, yeah, as mentioned, Shanghai. We are doing Monza. Yeah, that's not a bad track pool, isn't it? As you said, bar Monaco. It's should be an interesting one. Those watching wouldn't have caught it, but I was mentioning as soon as I joined, I literally, was looking in the lobby, up for this, and then literally I joined the lobby. I just see Monaco, and it's like, oh, for crying out loud. Just way to welcome me back, eh? Before I'd eventually switch to mods, it's like, okay, relief. We can breathe for at least another week. If Luke's hearing this, he'll probably throw Monaco in at some point, if it's not decided already. Is it decided? Do you know?
I don't know until the commentators know exactly the same point as the drivers, so it makes it a little bit difficult to do any sort of stats.
Do the admins know? Do the admins have the calendar planned out from right from the get go, or is it literally just kind of week on week? Yeah, we'll take that one.
I think it's week on. I think it's just whatever Luke decides at the time, and fair play.
Depending on right, so we know if Luke's had a bad day at the office, we can kind of. Yeah, when Monaco gets thrown out, or maybe Baku, that's when we know. It's been a rough day at the office for Luke, and he's just gonna.
He wants to punish the drivers.
Yeah. So it's up to the drivers now to be, on their best behaviour. If they're not, then they're just gonna have Monaco unleashed at them. Yeah, that's not happening, is it? That's wishful thinking.
Luca has mentioned that Luke spun a reel before the season, and he tells the host before, so he's clipped it all, so it's not
I was all decided.
It's all decided. Thank you, Luca, for clearing that up. But it was a bit fun. It was a bit of fun thinking that, you know what, maybe Luke's just gonna who knows, maybe he'll change it. Who knows? But that is the track pool, and I mean, you know what, from what we've seen, what on the tracks that we've got remaining, what do you really want to see on this? In the remaining 8 rounds.
Ooh, good question. What do I want to see? I mean, I'm down to see Austria again. I think after that penultimate round last season, I'm up for seeing that again. To be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Baku either. That always, as a neutral, as a commentator, that's usually a good one to commentate on. Yeah, I think that they're the two that, you know, as a neutral, as someone just watching, I'm looking at and thinking, yeah, I fancy that. We'll see what Luke has in store for us, or the wheel has in store for us, I guess. What about you, Gareth? What are you seeing in that track pool that you're thinking, yeah, you know what, I wouldn't mind seeing that race?
Austria, that was a great one.
Yep.
You know what? That's good. I like what they've done to Abu Dhabi now. So maybe Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
But the big one for me, and people don't understand why I choose it, but it's Saudi Arabia, because I've never the Jeddah Corniche circuit. I've never had a bad race in terms of there's always some action, there's always some controversy. I mean, you look at the F1 sim racing, the controversy between the man on the screen and Danny Beresne. You know, there's so much that can happen at Saudi, and if you get it wrong on one lap, it takes a little while. It takes a few laps to build the ERS back up because it's so quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's full throttle, isn't it? That track. You don't really get a chance to breathe, do you? Or certainly the battery doesn't. I guess on some of the straights you might get a little bit of a chance, but you know, on the whole, you know, the concentration levels needed and the commitment, you know, the combination of the two, quite a tricky circuit to get right. But I'm sure, you know, we're talking about the best drivers on console here, so I'm sure, you know, they won't mind if Saudi gets thrown out at them. But yeah, no, you are right about Saudi, and you know, it does often at least provide, as a neutral, provide you something, doesn't it?
It's
you know,
great
you know,
from a commentary point of view as well.
Yeah.
You're very, very rare you're stuck for something to talk about. I mean, I've done 100% commentary around there, and it's actually one of the easiest, in my opinion, to do 100% around. But I mean, races, the countdown is on. I'm going to give you plenty of time to decide who you think is going to take victory tonight. Chat, let us know as well. Ooh. Who do you think is going to take victory? Silo started. Last week's winner is starting a bit further down than he did last week. Tech's a little bit further down as well. We do have Cameron Dowds at the top of the timing screen as well for this one, but it's not always a good thing. It's like Mexico, isn't it? You don't always want to be at the front row of the grid going into turn one.
No, definitely not. It can be an interesting one, that's for certain. I'm just gonna have a look at the grid. There we go. We've got it.
Also, just to remind you, it has got to be pretty certain they're going to have to force a two-stop strategy here. I don't think they can make a medium soft work.
Right. Now that's going to be interesting to see that. Who's going to take victory here tonight? I feel like I'm feeling a Volakongan victory. I feel like down from 8th. I feel like that's in the realms of possibility. I mean, Cameron Downs on pole it's probably stupid to bet against him. I mean, look, you usually bet against, or not against him. Usually bet on him even if he's outside the top 10. So I'm having him on pole. I don't know why I've got against him. So name one of those two. Aston Martin, we'll say. There we go. I'll cheat.
Fair enough. Let us know in the chat. Is it going to be are you going to follow what Leopard has said there, an Aston Martin driver to take victory, or can Cameron Dowds convert a race win to pole? Safety car is still well, no, and not to pick on Zinedine, but the way he drove on those 2 laps, a safety car is possible when he's got to do 39 laps, isn't it? Here in I'm pretty certain it's 39. I could be very wrong.
39?
29. No.
27.
27.
Where did you pick out 39 from?
It's a good question. And I think I need to go back to bed or take some more water with my alcohol. I'm not sure. I'm not even drinking. That's the thing. Go way off topic. We're just waiting for the lobby to get him, get strategy sent and everything like that. It will be underway very, very shortly. So let us know who you think is going to take victory tonight. The race will start very, very shortly. But yeah, Leopard, it's going to be, Monza, great track, going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Should be, like Saudi, as we mentioned, it'll be fast-paced. There'll be overtakes almost every single lap going to the Rettifilio. That lead is going to change a lot, so in the first half of the Grand Prix. Maybe even because of this, with it, most likely being a second stop, it could go, that battling could go on even further, and probably then, by that point, the entire race, I've seen races here where it's like, where you get races like this, where it's like the first half of the race is utter mayhem, and then they kind of settle down from the midpoint, just to make sure, they're in position to then just go utterly gung-ho for the last couple laps if needed. This could be very fast-paced right from the get-go. So, yeah. Could be potentially, a survival of the fittest, or, just a case of, who can get that balance between aggression and playing it safe. And it could, could very easily turn into a race of pass or be passed. I've seen plenty of them where it's just right, who's willing to get their elbows out the most within reason, and it could well be one of those. Of course, what will probably decide this race is just whoever's best placed out of the Parabolica come the end of lap 26 is most likely the man to take victory, although not guaranteed.
Definitely not. There's a few, depending on the tyre life and the. With the way things are set, maybe puncture territory can be touched this race as well. Hello, Joseph in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Belbaby is on hards again. I believe Belbaby was on hards in the Chinese Grand Prix as well. So this is gonna be interesting. A double issue with that. I don't know.
It's about to get very awkward.
It could be. Especially, just imagine if they went on and won, and then had to be told that
they've broken the rules.
Yeah. But please bear with us. The race is very shortly upon us. I think it's just a few. I say a few final issues. That hard compound runner is an issue right now for I think a few people. But we are going to racing now. We are on 3, 4, 5 red lights. Round 2 of WOR season 20 is go, and it looks like a pretty good start from everyone. To be perfectly honest, most people are on a set of soft tyres. That is Owen trying to go round up the outside into turn 1. It looks like Cameron Dowd's going to hold Oscar. With Brando trying to find a way through Dirk. Dirk's had a pretty solid start as well, I think, is attacking Oscar for P2, but he has to settle for P3 for the time being. Brando's dropped to 4th, I believe, and, well, there we have it from there. But Lifebout and Max van der Geest, both on mediums, doing something a little bit different.
Yep, indeed. We'll get on to that in a moment's time. Cameron Dowd, unchallenged down to De La Rocha, the perfect start if you're the Scotsman of Cameron Dowd. He's got away cleanly, and he is unchallenged into the middle sector. So, one of the most difficult parts of the race, done. There's a lot of pressure when you're on pole position to get the whole shot, get the start, and get away unscathed, and he's done just that for the time being, has Cameron Dowd. So he leads the way from Oscar in 2nd, from Dirk in 3rd, from Brando in 4th. Watch out for Epic Vale in 5th. He's showed he does have a lot of raw pace in qualifying. Can he translate that into race pace, even if he is slightly further down the field than maybe he'd have anticipated? Ryan in 6th, Owen 7th, Volakongan in 8th as well. He's had an okay start himself, solidifying that P8 starting position. Of course, we'll have to look out for Lifebout and Max van der Geest on the mediums, going something a little bit different, as we mentioned, by starting on those medium compound tyres. We'll see what their strategy is eventually in this Grand Prix. Lap 2 of 27. Cameron Downs leads the way. It's Oscar looking for a lunge. Down into the reticulator. No, he tucks it behind. It's Dirk looking for a move. It's Brando looking for a move. Is anyone looking for a move? Yes, we got Owen on Ryan. Down into the reticulator. Nothing doing. Slightly moved onto the curb is Owen. And Ryan holds onto that position for the time being.
There's a car around. I think that's Zinedine, maybe. But Volokonga and Owen are battling away as they head through into De La Regia here, and they had to concede. But I'm just trying to think. It looked like Zinedine just came in a bit hot into that into that first corner, but I'm not 100% sure. But they are now suffering 5 seconds behind, away from everything. And Zinedine was fighting for the win last week. They were up to the top, battling away. But Oscar yet to find an answer to Cameron Dowds, but something's happened there.
No, Zinedine again, back end just snapped mid-corner through Les mode 2, and once again, that car just not looking settled at all for Zinedine, and he's going to have to get under wraps very quickly if he wants to have any chance of salvaging something from this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, we'll look back up towards the front because I think this DRS train is about to go utterly bonkers.
Yeah, the pandemonium maybe is a great word to describe this, but here comes Oscar taking the lead away from Cameron Dowds, who also loses it from Dirk there. And Cameron's trying to fight back, but there goes Brando trying to find a way to slip up the inside, but that's not happening. And Zinedine, I think, has decided that he just can't handle the Monza, not the streets of Monza, but the circuit of Monza at the moment, and decides, you know what, to save causing a safety car, we'll just retire. It's such a shame to see, but maybe best for him and his possible mental health.
Perhaps, yeah, probably a good call just to, live to fight another day maybe. Because that car, it just didn't look settled, did it, at all, for the McLaren. A bit of battling going on further back with Manlike and Joe Murphy. Joe Murphy into 15th as well. He's going to look for... Trying to get some points. He's actually up 5 positions, Joe Murphy, so that's a decent start if he kicks out with the man who's moved up the most positions in this Grand Prix, and you look to continue in that manner throughout the rest of this Grand Prix. Belby doesn't have the greatest X off Ascari, and that might leave him vulnerable to Joe Murphy as well. But we'll look back up towards the front because, you guessed it, it's time for the pit straight and the pandemonium to occur once again. Cameron Dowds and Dirk took right behind Oscar. In fact, Oscar's had a very good lap. He's going to be under absolutely no pressure at all by the looks of things down to the reticulator unless he gets collected or anything like that. In fact, it's Dirk looking for a lunge. No, had a lot of overspeed, and that just shows, half a second to 6/10 back, and look how close he got into the reticulator. Sure, maybe ERS modes have a part to play in that, but nevertheless, that just shows how powerful it is and how you can maybe never quite think you're safe at any point in this Grand Prix.
Both Hasses, I think, fighting side by side coming into the second Varante, and that's interesting. Both Ferraris, unfortunately, at the back of this grid, Lifebout battling away, trying to keep up with the soft runners on their mediums, but they've got to remember that they're going to come into this race quite strong soon. These softs won't last forever. Let's have a look towards the front. We've lost the driver, and that is Manlike at the second Esmo, and it looks like Nail's lost time as well, so maybe they're coming together between the two Ferraris. Has Cameron Dowds got a run on Dirk? They don't on this occasion, but that looks like a very, very strong exit out of Ascari.
Yep, he'll have that in mind if needed. Well, Cameron Dowds, he'll know, you know what? Out of Ascari, I've got to run. It's a strong point for me, and come on last lap shootout, that is going to be good to know. Good to store in the memory bank if you're Cameron Dowds. Looks like he's under no threat of losing P3 at the very least, and yes, he will just slot him into the reticulator once again. Oscar leads the way from Dirk and Cameron Dowds. Anything going further back, we've got Rain Bakar and Lifebout, or Rain Bakar split the two Hasses, in fact, trying to leapfrog both Hasses. In fact, there you go, use the battery, and there you go, he's got both of them. Round the outside of Curva Grande, job done. Rain Bakar up into the points.
A great move around the outside of Curva Grande there from Ryan Bakar there. Very, very solid, but 0.8 of a second now behind Hazara, who's having very, very solid race themselves. Usually fighting just below the top 10 positions. Currently in 9th, doing probably the confidence a world of good.
Where's Volokongan? sensibly backs out of that. That could have been tears, because if he committed to that, he was, I mean, look, he could have easily taken, you know, got past Ryan, but if he committed to that, he was probably almost certainly going to collect Epic Veil. I am very relieved Volakongan chose to back out of that move. And, well, Ryan might have just gifted him the position anyway, because that is a horrible, horrible run through Parabolic for Ryan, completely wide, and attack Sapper on exit for good measure. At the very least, he's forced him to use a lot of ERS. Here comes Volakongan, though. Now use the ERS for his own. And he's going to move up to P6. It might have to be P5. He's trying to get it stopped. He just about gets it stopped. Goodness me, I thought just looked like a carbon copy of Ascari, didn't it, nearly? I mean, Volakongan did back out of Ascari. It looked like he might not have a choice but to go for it into the Retifilio. But he did get it all stopped, and he's got the move he wanted. He's up into P6, and next on his hit list will be Epic Veil. And hopefully, he's under no threat of careering into the side of him this time. There's a couple of occasions where that could have gone very ugly indeed. Disappointing for the Tifosi, man like is out of the Grand Prix, which leaves them with one Ferrari left in this race. Have we had any pit stops? I think
We have indeed. Joe Murphy, BRT Silo, Tech, Ryder Dow and Nail all pitting for a set of medium compound tyres. The undercut will work for them quite well. Here comes... No, he decides... Oh, they decide better of it. But Ryan is losing ground to Hazara ahead. The mistake into the Retifilio has cost them a little bit here. I wonder how many pit stops we're going to see on this lap and whether it will go in their favour. Let's go back up to the leaders for the time being, because Dirk decided against making a move on Oscar into turn 1, into Varante 1. But this time, again, they do pull that to the inside. They are going to take the lead of this one. Belbubby picks up a 10-second penalty for
he's wide
in the pit lane. And who was that?
It was Dirk. He looked like he slightly overshot turn 1. He got it stopped a little bit better than I thought he was going to, but still, he was compromised on exit. And thankfully for him, it doesn't look like Oscar fancies getting that move back into De La Roger. So Dirk, albeit slightly overshooting the first part of the Retifilio, and again, he's potentially overshot De La Roger as well. So lay out the brakes as Dirk at the moment, compromising his exits. But I guess he's just about keeping hold of the lead for the time being, but just looks not quite assured, I guess is the way I'd put it. TF10 Dirk, that's a good couple of Lesmos, so that'll give him a bit of confidence, give him a rhythm to settle down into. And yeah, we'll hopefully, I mean not hopefully, but we'll should see a few more pit stops. Lifebound making use of those medium tyres now in the Haas. He's climbing a few positions himself. So his mediums are coming into their own. We should see Max van der Geest. Oh, I'd say that. He's completely wide through Ascari. So I was about to say, might see Max van der Geest also follow suit. Literally cuts to him, and he's off with Ascari. Rejoins. He'll just about keep hold of the DRS, will he? Just so. Not too costly for the RB. Anyone into the pits? Yes, we have a couple. Who is it? It's Dirk. It's Owen, and Owen picks up a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. And just like that, that is the race gone, barring some sort of miracle.
Oh, goodness me. Oscar's drifting around the Retifilio there, and that hasn't given Cameron as much of an advantage as I thought they would, as Cameron just holds back for the time being. Tech fastest man on the, or fastest driver on the circuit there, has positions swapping because of the medium runners, and I wonder if some of these drivers are thinking, actually, let's do a soft medium soft, or a soft medium instead of maybe a soft medium medium. Let's see what the strategies uphold here. Shizou Oscar then really looking like they are being pushed around the track by Cameron Dowds as we go through the second Lesmo, and yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting through this all as they head down to Ascari. We know how good Cameron has been through Ascari through some of this one, but they've dropped back a little bit, and maybe a little bit more confidence in Oscar at the moment, but Cameron is coming back.
Yeah, I think they're just going to have to wait a second or two before they make any moves, because I think we're going to see some more drivers in the pit lane. And to be fair, I don't know how long those mediums go. I don't know if you have any idea, Gareth, how long those mediums go. But we are potentially, at least from past games, getting to territory where it might be possible to stretch them out. Oscar into the pit lane for almost certainly a set of medium compound tyres. Is the only one actually from this group that has gone for it. Here we go. Then is it going to be carnage into the Retifilio? They all precision braking. Very well done from everyone. A little bit of contact between Lifebound, Volakongan, and Lifebound. It's got so much more grip. Those mediums really have come as their own, haven't they? Lifebound up to fourth. Dispatches to Volakongan. Next on his hit list will be the Red Bull of Epic Vale. But Lifebout is on an absolute charge. Those mediums are definitely the time to be on the moment, at least in comparison to a dead set of softs. However, again, I don't know how long those mediums last, but from previous games, and we're talking a long time ago, by the way, that, you know, we are getting into the territory where it might be possible to get those mediums to the end. We'll have to wait and see.
The BRT trio of Silo, Joe Murphy and Tech Brutal look like they're working together at the beginning of this lap. As something's happened over by you.
That was Epic Vale, sideways into Ascari. A sight that I'm quite used to after commentating on him in Tier 2 all those seasons. I need to stop mentioning that. I've mentioned it. I almost bring it up every time I mention Epic Vale. I need to stop doing that. Nevertheless, what I'm trying to make is, I'm used to seeing Epic Vale's car all out of shape of pulling all sorts of dancing maneuvers, and well, yeah, those soft tyres, a few of them decide enough is enough. Brando's in, Epic Vale's in, Volokongan's in for a set of the medium tyres. Cameron Dowds lets Lifebout go. So Lifebout is into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix for Haas, and he'll probably make great use of those medium compound tyres and check out into the distance for the time being. Now the question is, what is the strategy? I think if you Cameron Dowds or Hazara, I think the plan is one stop.
See what they decide to do. Joe Murphy is the lead car on the second train here, 17.4 seconds behind Lifebout, who is leading this Grand Prix. Let's see how it will pan down. At the moment, we've had the majority of the cars pit for their first pit stops. Those 4 drivers that have yet to pit are Lifebout, who started on the mediums, Cameron Dowd, Hazara, who started on the softs, and Max van der Geest in 4th, who started on the medium compounder tyres. So, Max van der Geest getting past Hazara there in Ascari, which is a very odd place to take a position, and that could just be showing that Hazara is struggling on the soft compounder tyres at the moment.
Yep, indeed. Those softs are certainly well past the sell-by date. Now, what do you do if you Cameron Dowds is my question. You've got the DRS of Lifebout, and yeah, I think that's a good call, especially if you are going for the one stop. Make use of, you know, the free time you'll gain. Hazara understandably into the pits. Cameron Dowds, as ever, has managed to keep those tyres very nicely indeed. And, you know, he's able to keep a bit of pace, and yeah, why not make use of a bit of extra, you know, free time in the DRS of Lifebout. Be dragged along by someone, you know, who's got a quicker car than you at this moment in time, or certainly way better tyres than you. Smart, if you ask me, from Cameron Dowds to keep hold, you know, stay out another lap. Might as well make the most of it. And you know, it's not like he's, I mean, sure, he's definitely, you know, not putting any pressure on Lifebout, and he is losing time, but he's keeping with him enough to keep hold of him for the time being. Although I think we might see him in this lap, and it almost certainly will be mediums to the end. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, he's held on to those tyres really well, has Cameron Dowds, and he is still, that would put him, what, 15 seconds in front of Owen, who is the lead of the second train that we've got going on at the moment. It will put him in the middle of that train, but he doesn't then have to push too hard. He doesn't have to do what he does week in, week out, which is overtake the whole field. He could just relax a little bit and then push towards the end. Cameron is in the pits now. BRT Silo trying to find a way through before Parabolica, but decides against it. These 5 cars are going to eventually take the net lead. Well, they are the net leaders of the Grand Prix, but Lifebout and Max van der Geest, we don't know how that's going to be. Are they waiting for a safety car? And if they are in a great battle.
Silo into the lead of those that are on the 2-stop. He moves up into what's currently a P3 at the moment. Dispatches of Owen, Tech Brutal into P5. Joe Murphy and Dirk also doing battle on exit. These guys have, those that have come in early, have managed to jump the likes of Oscar and Ryan and whatnot, Brando as well. Those that went a bit longer, in comparison to those that came in earlier, Joe Murphy, well, you know, those at the front currently, have managed to make that undercut work quite nicely, and are making the most of it at this moment in time. They've currently, you know, got the track position they wanted. Of course, it does force them onto that 2-stop, and we will have to watch out for Cameron Dowds, who's not only, I reckon, on a 1-stop strategy in this period of this Grand Prix, he's got the best tyres out of anybody. So he's only going to be going quicker, gaining time for these next few laps. Before obviously then he's just on the back foot for the rest of the Grand Prix. But I think the time, Monza's quite a high pit loss delta, if I'm not mistaken. So the time he'll gain by not making an extra stop should be more than enough, I reckon, to cover the time that he'll lose by being on older tyres and having everyone else on softer, fresher tyres potentially. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, at the very least, as Owen moves back up into, I guess, provisional P1, at least for those two stoppers. Tech Brutal also follows him through into the Rettifilio. I think Cameron Dowds might have pulled a master stroke here, provided he doesn't get into any contact.
Owen and Dirk are going to have to push for that one stop as well now. And it might not be too easy. Owen, Tech, and Silo and Joe Murphy. I'm almost certain they're going to have to stop again. But they will be absolutely rapid at the end. On a set, I can imagine them throwing on a set of softs, being absolutely insanely quick through it all. Hazara just 0.7 a second behind Cameron Dowds. We'll have to see how that goes down. A swap of positions between TF10 Brando and TF10 Ryan, and they both used to be in Team NVR as well. So interesting little stat there. They used to be in the Aston Martin team back in season 17 for WOR Console Tier 1 as well. I can still pull out stats without having to do research.
There you go.
There we go.
Win.
It's far more difficult without knowing the track though. But yes, there is a break in that train now, with Oscar a little bit further down.
Yeah, there was a few that obviously, those that got the undercut, they've made that work very nicely indeed. And there's a few who went a bit longer who've managed to kind of somewhere along the line get through the field, or maybe, put together a couple nice outlaps and, get onto this train, stick with those that have made the undercut work. It just looks like if you're Brando, Ryan and Oscar just got caught a little, and this is where the train has split, although Brando looks like he's making use of his fresh medium tyres at the moment, and looks like he might be looking to bridge that gap, although he's not got the battery to do it. Again, falling a couple tenths short from the DRS train, and again they're going to have to wait a little bit longer if that's what they want.
I may have made a mistake there. I don't think it was MVR, I think it was NLR. But yeah, that's my stats. I'm now questioning myself, but there's some stats anyway. But yeah, Cameron Dowds has, sorry to interrupt, but Cameron Dowds has dispatched the bottom train, and he's already Nail's keeping up by 0.6, but he's always caught back up to Volokongan there in 13th place.
Indeed, Max van der Geest has moved up into the lead of the Grand Prix, and here we go, they're down this pit straight. Owen moves into the lead, past Tech Brutal, and what we got going on here, it looks like 3 or 4 wide potentially, down into the Rettifilio. It sorts itself out of edge. The Epic Veil late on the brakes, too late on the brakes, collects ever so slightly TF10 Ryan, and Oscar also getting caught up in it as well. Could have been a lot worse for everyone involved. Thankfully, it's not as bad as it potentially looks like it could be. Epic Veil keeps on a PA for the time being, but yeah, that could have been disastrous for the likes of Epic Veil, for Ryan, for Oscar. Maybe a bit worse for Oscar, got slightly caught up in it, came off worse in that, but thankfully, by the looks of it, shouldn't be any damage, or at least any drastic damage to any of those cars, and they'll live to fight another day. But in terms of bridging that gap, that's not helped their cause one bit.
Max van der Geest and Lifebout have to work together to keep that gap at 12 seconds to Owen behind, and Brando and Ryan swapping places as well, but Epic Veil managing to get back through Ryan, and Ryan is now dropping a little bit now. The lead, I think, is that Dirk no, Dirk's pulled back out of that again. Where is Cameron Dowds? No, there's 2.3 seconds behind Volokongan. Hazara's got through as well. The Ferrari of Nail. There's still some action happening. Let's go to Tech Brutal and TF10
It's 3 wide at the front. Sorry to interrupt. It is 3 wide at the front between between Brutal, Dirk and Owen. Tech Brutal coming out on top just about. Is he? No, Dirk's got the traction on the exit, and he looks to make it an RB 2 and 3, and he does that for now. But here comes Owen. Is Owen looking to try and get past the pair of them? No, doesn't fancy it at all. Slots in between them. he fancies P4 for the time being, does the kick Sauber. I may say, he seems really tidied up. I think we saw it in qualifying, didn't we? I mean, and I was on board with them earlier. It's like, again, like not quite as, no offense Zinedine, not quite as unsettled as Zinedine's car, but still it just looked a bit scrappy in some places. But he's done well, he's tidied it up, and he's currently, at least out of those who we think are on a 2-stop, is doing well there in P2 in this kind of train. Obviously P4 on the road. We'll have to wait and see what Max van der Geest and Lifebout haven't saw. Lap 16 and 27. No sign of them coming into the pits just yet. And to be fair, depending on how long they go, that could be quite telling as for what the rest of them may do or can do. Depending on what Lifebout Max van der Geest do, it'll be telling to see what are the cards on the table for those that have come in a bit earlier. Here we go again.
It's all change at the front as both the kicks out. Oh no, Tech has got back past Owen there as well. It looked like both the kick salvers are going to get through that, but Dirk is getting probably a little bit frustrated with the drivers that have got 3-lap tyres older around them, because their tyres are going to drop off and not going to be there around the end of the Grand Prix, because, well, we're on the understanding right now that they will be pitting again for soft soon, but they might want to push it for later as Tech goes a little bit deep out of the exit of turn 5 of the second Ferrante there, as again Lifebout and Max van der Geest, they're still keeping at, I mean it's 11.5 now, but it was 12.1 just a couple of laps ago, so the second train is not catching as quickly as they thought. Well, we thought they might do.
No, but it's solid from the top, from the two out in front. It's incredibly solid. I mean, saying that, Max van der Geest was wiggling about through a scarring. Maybe, just maybe, those tyres maybe are beginning to let go. Are we going to see anyone in the pit lane? No, they stay out another time. It's definitely one stop. If you're Lifebout and Max van der Geest, it's almost certainly one stop. If you're Cameron Downs and Hazara, it's just those that have come in a lot earlier. Are they going to suffer on mediums? No, someone's in. It's Joe Murphy, has bitten the bullet. He's going for a 2-stop. It's the kick Sauber. Probably, almost certainly was going to be the case. But Joe Murphy is the first man to make a second pit stop in this Grand Prix. And what time will it be? You'd have to imagine. Is it soft? No, it's a fresh set of mediums. So he really can be just flat out to the end of this Grand Prix. No time management needed whatsoever. If you're Joe Murphy, he doesn't have to worry about it one bit. He could just go flat out for the rest of this Grand Prix. Silo's actually coming a lot earlier. I completely missed that. Silo's came in a few laps ago. What happened there? Front wing damage, surely. Has to be, because it's behind.
Might be front wing damage, yeah. I might check the race director shortly, but Owen, with that 10-second penalty to their name as well, could be a massive problem for them. The same as Belbaby, who's down in 15th place. There's a lot of different strategies on offer, and this makes it that little bit more querying for a lot of the drivers, because they're not sure what's going to happen. Lifebout and Max van der Geest still pulling away. However, Tech Brutal is 11 seconds now, and there's Max van der Geest into the pits as Dirk is now being hounded by Brando and Epic Vale behind. Brando's got the inside, I think, of Dirk as they head down the start-finish straight to start lap number 19. As, my goodness me, this is nearly four wide. It's going to be a bit boxy. It's going to be a bit squiffy. Are they going to be able to hold it? There's issues behind. There's contact. I think Dirk has made a little bit, back end is stepping out like crazy, but it's held at the moment, and there's going to be 3 wide as they come through Curva Grande. I don't think Epic Vale's going to have the grip, but they're going to try every which way round to get through. Brando still battling away as well, and surely Tech is going to keep that position, but it's still side by side through the second Ferrante.
Brando right round the... Oh, Epic Vale's going to go for the inside to Lesmo 1. This is going to be tight between the pair of them, the two title rivals between from season 19, or sorry, season 18 in Tier 2. Do battle through the two Lesmos, and Tech Brutal's come off a lot worse, and now he's vulnerable. From TF10, Ryan, Ray Bakar, he just used enough battery to keep them at bay, but Epic Vale, opportunistic into Lesmo 1, gets up into P5 on the road for the time being. Is Lifebout thinking about pit stop anytime soon? We'll have to wait and see. Got yellow in sector 3, I'm not sure who that is at this moment in time. Lifebout's into the pit lane at the end of lap 19 for what will almost certainly be a sort of soft to the end of this Grand Prix. Is anyone else thinking about a pit stop? Whether, well, there'll have to be a second one now, because those on one stops have now made made their stop, made their move. Owen leads the Grand Prix on the road, but he will probably not be winning this Grand Prix as a result of the 10-second penalty. It's a bit wide through turns 1 and 2. That's going to cost him on exit. Will it allow Brando to maybe think about a move through Kerber Grande and maybe into the Della Rocha? Maybe a bit too soon in the Grand Prix still for anything like that. Just want to hold your position, keep your battery for as long as you possibly can. Everyone else slowing you behind for the time being. And now, yeah, it really now becomes a question of what's the plan? You know, what's on the table? What's the idea? It might be getting to the point of the Grand Prix where those that have come in early might be about to start thinking, oh my goodness me, that's close into Ascari. Down straight into Ascari. It's Dirk thinking about it to the inside. No, backs off. Brando into the lead. Dirk squeezed out Owen on exit. In fact, they've balked each other a little bit. That's going to allow Brando a bit of breathing room. And here comes Epic Vale on exit. Taking advantage of the squabbling between the RB and the Kickstarter. He's going to have to be later on the brakes into Parabolic. He's going to try to hang it all the way around the outside. It's Epic Vale, but there's not enough grip out there. And he has to yield for the time being. And the more and more time these guys spend out on track, the more and more I begin to think they're going to stretch it out to the end of this Grand Prix on a one-stop.
They're going to try, but the man in 7th place is, well, fighting for 7th place with Oscar at the moment, is definitely the one to watch. They're going to have the better tyre life at the end. But I think there's a little bit of contact with someone. Is that Hazara that's got the hot contact? Or was that Cameron Downs? I think that was Cameron Downs.
Cameron Downs, just half spun a little bit by Oscar. Nothing too malicious, nothing too crazy. It just cost him a bit of time, and he is up into P7. It's the Aston Martin. He should be able to shake that off and get on with it. And he does need to get on with it, because I think that, the longer this race goes on, the more and more likely it is that those 6 ahead of him are not coming into the pit lane anytime soon. So it is going to be a one-stop to the end. Those that have gone for the 2, it looks like it's going to be rather costly. Make that extra second pit stop at this moment in time. We'll have to see, those that came in especially early, looking at Tech Brutal in particular. Will those tyres hang on? Because that's a long way to go on a set of medium compound tyres.
Certainly is, as struggling to keep Ryan Bakar behind at the moment. Kept on board with Cameron Dowds through this part, and they've got a lot of pressure on Brando, trying to keep in front of Epic Vale at the moment. It's Brando and Epic Vale's race to lose at the moment. They have got 2 lap better tyres than Dirk, but 2 lap worse tyres than Cameron Dowds. Ryan Bakar and Cameron Dowds, Tech Brutal swapping positions. Tech's trying to make it as difficult as possible. And there's contact into there, and there goes Oscar through as well. But that's made Cameron Dowds pick 2 positions, which probably wasn't on Brando and Epic Vale's bingo card to happen in this one, because that means it's a little bit easier for them to get, for Cameron Dowds to get through. Only 2 more cards for Cameron to get into a podium position.
Yep, indeed. Cameron Dowds will say thank you very much for that. Tech Brutal and Ryan Bakar doing battle and just got hooked a little bit. Kind of classic, just the tyres or the way the contact model is. Just hooked a bit on exit. Both went off into the gravel ever so slightly. Ryan Bakar in particular, and that allowed Cameron Dowds to breeze on by. Same with Oscar as well, or at least past Ryan Bakar at the very least. Of course, Cameron Dowds, as far as the race results go, will not have to worry about the car in Owen, but of course he wants race victory. He wants a full 25 points here at the Italian Grand Prix, and to do that he's going to have to dispatch of Owen on the road. Speaking of on the road and whatnot, it's battling once again. We start lap 23 and 27. Owen looking to the outside of Dirk into the Retifilia, but nothing doing. Everyone's going to have to slide in behind for the time being as the laps tick down here in Monza. Volokongan has managed to get in behind his teammate Cameron Dowds as well, as Tech Brutal's tyres maybe, just maybe, beginning to let go. Lifebout's not had the greatest of stints on the soft tyres so far. Max van der Gies, on the other hand, has had a decent, at least opener to his soft tyre stint, and he's going to be a man on a mission. He's got a couple seconds to find till he gets to this leading train of 10, and he's going to be, reeling that in corner by corner on those soft tyres. Ryderdal picks up a 3-second penalty, down in 13th. Not ideal for the Williams. Cameron Dowds has dispatch of the Kickstarter of Owen, so Cameron Dowds up to P4. Again, he's just going to have to make use of these fresher tyres. Gets slightly balked by TF10 Dirk on the exit of Ascari. Nothing crazy though. Nothing that's going to affect him too much. Ryan picks up a penalty. Here comes Owen up the inside to Parabolka. Where did he come from? There's contact between Owen and Cameron Downs, and that allows Volokongan to slip on by. The other Aston Martin has taken full advantage, and he's up to P4. Owen looks to make life as difficult as he can. Dirk trying to give the slipstream down into the Retafilio. Who's going to be braver? Who's going to be later on the brakes into the Retafilio? Volokongan brakes a little bit earlier initially, tries to let off the brakes, to put it back down the inside, but he can't make it work. Owen back up into P4, great bit of defensive driving, didn't give up on the possession, and he's got up into P4. Cameron Downs down to P6 as a result, and that has made his life a lot more difficult than it initially was.
It's even worse for Cameron Dowds because there was contact from, there was damage from the contact from Owen. The front end plate is missing on Cameron Dowds' car, which means, I'm sure, a steward inquiry is definitely going to come in for that one. I just think it was a bit too late into Parabolica for Owen. Without looking at it again, I'm not going to make any more words on that. But that does make Brando and Epic Vale's life that little bit more it's definitely easier because they won't have Cameron Dowds breathing down their throat anytime soon. Is that defensive from Volokongan? Yeah, it is. He's let him go, even with the damage. Maybe not. The engineer's not talking or anything, but we'll have to wait and see. Cameron Downs is going to go back at Owen once again as they come down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, he's losing that battery, and now he's looking for maybe a little bit of revenge down to the Retafilio, but he just doesn't have the battery to at least reasonably use up to try and think about anything down into the Retafilio, so nothing doing for Cameron Downs just yet, but he has managed to gain one position back thanks to great bit of teamwork, you could argue, from Volokongan to allow him back into position. Here comes Cameron Downs and using the rest of the battery, maybe didn't quite use up at the end of the pit straight, and now has the inside of Owen down into Dylan Roger, but he's on the inside. It's a bit of a choke point. Is there? You don't really want to be going side by side through there if you can help it. And Cameron Downs doesn't fancy it. Maybe rather sensibly. I mean, where did he finish last time out of Shanghai? Was it P6? So keeping it consistent, picking up points. It's a 10-round season. Might be in his best interest. Not worth going gung-ho or doing anything crazy like that and risking another low point score or no point score. Pick up what you can within reason. And now he's going to use the overtake down to Parabolka, inside line for Cameron Downs, and this time he'll hope that he has managed to dispatch the Kickstarter of Owen, who's made his life incredibly difficult. He's a bit of battery on exit to make sure he's kept at bay, although it can be rather difficult because Owen does have a lot of ERS at his disposal.
Here we down on the penultimate lap of this one. Cameron moves to the inside to allow Owen around the outside. Cameron's going to use as much of the road as possible and force the issue, but I don't think it's going to work on this occasion. I think Owen might have the ERS to his disposal, but it's not worked at the moment. Cameron is now fighting through it, and maybe a little bit of teamwork with Volokongan coming through as well. It's all kicking off a little bit. Volokongan's through into that position. Cameron is trying to hold suit with Owen, and they're, contact through it all. And Shazoo, Oscar, managing to get past Owen as well, and with Hazara just behind.
Indeed, Cameron Downs, just wrong place, wrong time. Volokongan, brilliant move, brilliant double overtake around the outside of Kilmer Grande. Inside line for the De La Rogia. Job done. They have lost the DRS though. And amongst all this talk about Cameron Downs, this race has flown on by Hazara and Oscar doing battle. Owen blazing over the top of Hazara into Ascari. But we have to move away from this because of the battle for the lead going on. Just over a lap remaining here in Monza. Who's going to come out on top between Brando, Epic Vale and Dirk? Dirk has the worst tyres out of anybody, and he probably arguably has the worst track position out of anybody. Who's going to come out on top between those three? It's McLaren versus Red Bull versus RB. Epic Vale will have the DRS. He has the slipstream. He has the battery at his disposal. He moves into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix unchallenged down into the Retafilio. He leads the way here in Monza. The Italian at home for Red Bull is looking like he might just be on for another race victory here in Console Tier 1. What's happening further back? Oscar's gone up into P4, Cameron Downs back up to P5, so they've dispatched a Volakonga down the main pit straight, but all eyes towards Epic Vale at the front.
Let's go back to it. Epic Vale has held off, well, very, very nicely. Brando had just held behind Brando for a little while, not to make the move, and Brando's now struggling in the dirty air of Epic Vale. Here comes, oh, there's a puncture for Belbelby, who's struggling down the Curva del into Ascari. Serigilio, I can't say that properly. Cameron Downs takes 4th place. Brando, 0.4 of a second behind Epic Vale. Epic Vale has, well, waited. He's, well, all of them have been lucky with Ray and Bakar now retiring from the session. What's happened there, I'm not sure, but Epic Vale coming into Parabolica. There's nothing going to stop Epic Vale now, surely, unless it's a big mistake. Nothing has crossed the line, surely, for Epic Vale as victor here in Monza, with Brando in 2nd place, 3rd place to Dirk. What a drive from him, but I will have to say Cameron Downs there in 4th place. My goodness me, what a way to end this Grand Prix.
Indeed it was. Epic Vale is your race victor, timed it to perfection, waited for his moment, and then utterly pulled the pin on that last lap. Nothing Brando could do. Epic Vale got the lead to 1 and checked out, and he takes the full 25 points here in Monza for round 2 of WR Season 20. Cameron Downs will wonder what could have been. Maybe he'd have thought those, you know, would have been coming in again. In the end, they didn't. Maybe he had the tyres if it wasn't for front wing damage, but nevertheless, if you're Cameron Downs, you've got to remain positive. You know, you've had a solid start to the season. Maybe not the start you'd have liked, maybe not the start you would have hoped for. You know, hasn't lived up to the expectations, the high expectations that probably not, not just he has for himself, but we all, you could argue, have for Cameron Downs. But a P6 and a P4 to start the season isn't that bad, especially in a grid like this. If you can remain consistent, it goes a long way. And he'll do well to try and just keep that kind of mentality, at least for these opening few rounds. And knowing Cameron Downs, he'll end the season strongly anyway. He often does. But it's all about Epic Vale. The Red Bull has done the business in his home Grand Prix in Monza.
Yeah, what a way to do it. It's kicking off in the Console Tier 1 chat.
Oh, of course it is.
Which, and there comes some, no comment. But yeah, what a way to end that one. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's going to be difficult. I'll give you a little bit of time to decide your driver of the day. I'm not 100% sure who the game gave it to. I would love to give a rundown of the order, but I don't think it's going to give me the screen. I've just got a black screen at the moment, so move to that. Have you got it, Leopard?
I have the podium celebrations at the moment. I also have a black screen.
Thank you, Codemasters.
This is a well-made video game.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to get the order out of that one unless... No, it's not going to, which is frustrating. So I will momentarily just pull that over. So there we have it. That was the Italian Grand Prix at Monza for Season 20. I was going to give you some time, but who was your driver of the day?
Ooh, who was my driver? Well, for a long time, I thought I was going to be giving it to Cameron Downs because I thought he had played that really well. In the end, it turned out that the one stop was maybe a bit more possible, than we thought. I was impressed, by Lifebout and Max van der Geest. I thought, those strategies, were well worked, and Lifebout, despite not having a great start to his soft tire stint, actually, climbed up into the points. I do remember that. But in terms of drive of the day, it's a difficult one. I don't want to give it to the race winner. You know what I mean? It kind of feels...
Definitely. I think if Cameron pulled off the win, and I think he would have done had there not been damage from the Parabolica incident.
Would have been the conversation at the very least, for sure.
And at that point, I would have been happy to give the race away. And this is taking nothing away from Epic Fail or anything, but they won because a driver couldn't drive to their best because of damage. And that, I mean, Epic Fail winning it. I mean, I will give Epic Fail driver of the day personally.
Yeah, I think so.
Because of the situation. But Joseph said in the chat, it's Italian 1-2.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it is, isn't it? Epic Fail just drove a phenomenal race. It's just when it comes to pick and drive of the day, and sometimes the race when it is drive of the day. You know, he drove a very good race from P5 or P6 on the grid. On the whole, kept it quiet. I think there was one little kerfuffle he had down to the Rettifilia with a car or two, but you know, beyond that, you know, solid race, managed it perfectly, and he's got the race victory, and you know that's gonna do his championship the world of good if that is what he's aiming for. So yeah, we'll give it to our race victor, Epic Fail.
Fair enough. We both have, so there we go. Something I will ask, because it's going to be interesting, and I'm going to write it down. We will go back to calendar screen. What's going to be round 3, Leopard?
Oh, predictions for round 3. Good idea. Good idea. Let's get the calendar back up. That is the wrong Discord. That's the right one. What will round 3 be then? I assume I'm just going to we're going to take a wild guess and say that we can't have repeat rounds or anything like that, even if they're in the track ball. I'm going to assume nothing like that's going to happen. So what will round 3 be then? Complete lottery, no thought behind it whatsoever. What will round 3 have been? I'm gonna say it is Miami. That's my guess.
Fair enough. And you know what? I'm going to go Imola.
Oh, back-to-back in Italy. Yeah, that's a good show. There really isn't any... There's no sort of educated guess here, because we can't, we know it's just a random wheel, isn't it?
Yeah.
So...
We can't guess it. We can't give any sort of reasonings behind our answer. It's just what we feel.
There's no thought process behind anything. It's a complete lottery. I mean, it's a lottery when it comes to, the tracks listed, for what comes up. So you can't really... There's no thought process behind it, is there? It's just, whatever the wheel is thrown at, the drivers will be what it is. There's no kind of common sense behind it or anything. If it wants to throw Monaco and Baku and Singapore back to back, it will.
God. For those on the stream watching, have just probably seen the life drain out of me.
I
know. But yeah, no, it is. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's going to be interesting to see how it will all pan down. Two words to sum up that race then, Leopard.
Two.
You can do it in one if you like.
Strategically interesting.
Nice. I like that. That's a good one. It certainly was indeed. We will be back next week. Let's go back to the calendar just to confirm. We will be back next week for the round 3 of the mystery season here.
Or whatever round 3 is.
For WOR. Season 20 is a season to be, to behold, something never seen in WOR history of constant track randomness. But from myself and Leopard, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week for whatever round, or for whatever track is thrown at us. But yeah, for now, goodbye.